A brand new decade is almost upon us, and today I'm going to walk you through an exercise in self-awareness and self-healing so we can really reflect on the past 10 years and move our best selves forward in 2020. Welcome to another video. For those of you who are new here, my name's Nena and I'm a life coach that specializes in personal development. Here at this channel we talk about everything having to do with our emotional well-being, understanding our own psychology, and living our most awesome life possible. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please go ahead and become one because we definitely want you to stay connected. So like I said, today we're going to reflect upon and really start to analyze the past 10 years of our lives. We are getting ready for a brand new decade. It's going to be 2020. And so we really want to think about what happened in the 2010s. And I don't know about you, but for me, it was just a decade of huge and immense change in my life. So I feel that I am barely recognizable as a person, at least internally, from who I was at the beginning of that decade. There were so many experiences, both expected and completely unexpected, that really shaped my life to a new degree. And there's been a lot of growth during these 10 years. And I'm certainly sure that that has been the case for you as well. I think it's really important before we move on to a new phase of our life that we really, finish reading and writing the chapters of our past book. So that's kind of what we are going to be doing today. We want to gain more perspective. We want to have emotional healing if we still need it for things that happened during the decade. And we also want to have closure for anything that needs it as well. There may be things and issues that are still open in your life that we really need to take care of before we can move forward. So in this video, we're going to talk about how we can really start to design that next decade. So this is going to be a journaling exercise. So if you already have a self-growth journal, go ahead and get that out. And if not, go ahead and just get a piece of paper. I'm going to give you a series of journal prompts and you're going to go ahead and reflect on them and then answer them to your most honest capability. And that information is really going to help us move forward in such a positive way. So the first thing that we want to do is think about those 10 years. Now, if you can remember, for each year, think about something significant that happened or kind of sum up that year in a few sentences. And you may find it surprising that some of the years that you don't even remember. And that comes from a lack of mindfulness, which is something that as we get older, we need to focus on more and more. For the second thing, we're going to look at all the things that we remembered and that we wrote down, and we're going to discuss how they made us feel. So we want to do two things here. We want to think about how they made us feel when we were actually going through these things. And then we want to also write down how they make us feel right now and see if there's a difference between those two feelings. And for the third thing, we're going to think about which of those experiences made us the happiest, and on the flip side, which of those things made us the saddest. So what were the most positive things and what were the most negative things? For number 4, we're going to think about themes. So if you can remember, come up with a theme for each of those years, or kind of sets of years if you have to, and then at the end, come up with one overall theme for the entire decade. So if you had to boil it down to one general theme, what was your focus for the last 10 years? And for number 5, you're going to answer the question, is this a theme or a focus that I would like to continue into the next decade? Or is it time for a new theme? For number 6, you're going to describe either year by year or in sets of years who you were as a person during each of these different phases. So think about your priorities, your habits, your beliefs, and think about, what really was important to you during each of those times. Who were you at each part of the decade? For number 7, you're going to think about all the major decisions and choices that you made that really affected the outcome of that decade. So you want to write down those big choices and how you feel about them. And for number 8, we're going to look at what we wrote for number 7 and answer the question, would the person I am at this moment now make the same choices or decisions that I made at that time? And if not, why? How have I changed? Number 9, Thinking about the decade as a whole, or again, in parts, what life lessons did I learn? So what did I learn overall? What were the big takeaways? And what were some of the smaller lessons that I learned? How did I grow as a person during that decade? Number 10 is, what information do I wish I had known ahead of time? What do I wish I could have told my younger self? For number 11, we need to go a little bit deeper, and we want to think about if there are any unresolved issues or different areas of our life that need closure before we will effectively be able to move on. For number 12, we want to think about the decade as a whole and where we are now right at the tail end of this decade. If you were braver, what would you change about your life? If you were able to do it, what changes would you make to yourself and what changes would you make to your life? Number 13, what is holding me back from living my best life now? So if there are things in our life that we want to change, what is holding us back from actually doing this right now? So for number 14, we're going to get a little more positive and we're going to answer the question, what in our life right now do we love the most? So what are the things that make me happiest about my life right now? Number 15, what am I most grateful for in my life right now? What do I feel the most gratitude about? Number 16, this one may take a little longer to answer, but that is, what needs do I have in my life that I'm aware of at least that still need fulfilling? What are the needs that aren't being presently met? Number 17, what aspects of this decade do I want to take with me and carry with me into the next decade? So what are the good points that happened during this decade that I want to go ahead and take with me into 2020? And number 18 is the most important one, and that is, what steps could I take right now to eliminate the baggage that is weighing me down so I do not bring it into the next decade? So the things that I don't want to be as a part of my life, what steps can I take right now to bring closure to them, to bring healing to them, and to really feel that I have a nice blank page so I can move forward freely into my own new future? So take time with all 18 of these questions and just gather up as much information as you possibly can. You want to really reflect and really explore these questions, because the more self-awareness we can gain, the more we will understand what we need to have healing in, what we need closure from, and what things we want to truly bring into our new decade. This is a fresh start. It is a chance to really design our lives, design ourselves, and be the person and have the life that we truly want to live. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and if it was, please like it and share it with someone else who may need to hear this information today. Also, again, if you aren't already a member of our community, please go ahead and become a subscriber. We definitely want you to stay connected, and I thank you so much for spending time with me today. Have an absolutely amazing day.